Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Andrei Arlovski to defeat Pedro Hizzo. And I'm here to talk about Andrei Arlovski versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Waldo is 10-1 as a pro, 32 years old, and he's got 1 inch of height and 1 inch of reach over a 44-year-old Arlovski, who is 34 and 22. I say this every time I talk about Arlovski, but I had doubt about his chin 20 years ago. And it's a miracle that he's the guy from back then. Of all the fighters, he's the guy who's still fighting in 2024 by the time these guys fight. So it's just insane. But it's not to say he's gone without knockouts, even deep into his 40s here. His 2 most recent losses, well, Dante Mays knocked him out. Marcos Rogerio de Lima roughed him up and then choked him out. But Andrei Arlovski has largely fought into his 40s, deep into his 40s here, by becoming a boring fighter. He's a guy who wants to keep things a jousting battle, and Arlovski has maintained his mobility and agility. He's a better athlete than the majority of the UFC's heavyweight division, even the guys in their 20s and 30s. I mean, even though a good amount of them had guts, he was able to beat a lot of the lower end of the division. Jake Collier, Carlos Felipe, Jared Vanderaa, Chase Sherman, and Arlovski does have some strengths against the rest of the heavyweight division, but he is still much more vulnerable than maybe everybody else in the division. You know, if he's not able to keep it a jousting match, generally speaking, he's going down or he's the one getting roughed up. I don't know if he's finished anybody since Travis Brown, which is 8 years ago or something. Maybe there's somebody I'm forgetting, but I don't think so. And that obviously takes away, him not being willing to engage, takes away his chances of getting the knockouts. And he's got to fight the perfect fight, keeping his chin safe and winning a jousting battle. And he is able to do it against a lot of the heavyweights. But here, I think he's kind of giving Waldo Cortes-Acosta, of all the savvy veterans, it's the most favorable matchup for Waldo. Because Arlovski, despite having picked up a lot of skills along the way, he's not the type to test the grappling of Waldo or really to execute leg kicks. He doesn't have Marcos Rogerio de Lima's leg kicks. Arlovski can still do a lot, but I think in general, the fight he'd be winning would be I don't want to say a boxing battle, as it'd really be more of a jousting battle, but with his hands. He'd be on the outside. And Waldo Cortes-Acosta, he has been knocked out, I believe, as a boxer, but he's looked pretty healthy. I think he's got an above-average chin on him. He's got an above-average skull, it seems like. And I think he'd be able to withstand any danger from Arlovski, especially Arlovski being more conservative these days. And even in a jousting battle, Waldo Cortes-Acosta being given, again, half a boxing match against a guy that he's got an inch of height and an inch of reach on, I think Waldo Cortes-Acosta wins that points battle anyway. So Waldo, even though he's looked vulnerable at times, that fight against Jared Vanderaa, which might have been his UFC debut, he got his legs chewed up, but he has still shown a grit to him, fighting through adversity, especially against Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Fighting through adversity, I thought he looked good in round 3 in that fight. And of course, his power did show itself for the first time in the octagon against Lucas Dreschke in his last fight. That was nice for him to get a finish, the first since the Contender Series. But Waldo does have the power to knock Arlovski out as well. So Waldo Cortes-Acosta is the pick. I think he wins by knockout, and even if it goes to a decision, I envision him winning. I think he's going to be able to outpoint Arlovski by being the bigger guy and being given a much easier puzzle to figure out by a guy like Arlovski as opposed to somebody where you got to worry about him chopping your leg in half. So Waldo is the pick, knockout or decision. Betting-wise, staying away from this unless they really get the prop odds wrong. And by that, of course, I mean I will get drunk and bet on Arlovski. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit. Check out my other videos.